So not long after the Whipple install, the Cobra is finally getting a dyno tune today. I'm a bit optimistic and nervous at the same time. It's tough because I've found things out about this car as I've gone along. If you've seen all the videos leading up to this point, I found some messed up things with the car that I've addressed since I've had it back in January. So part of me is a little bit nervous taking it down to the dyno and just hoping that there isn't some gremlin, some unknown thing going on with the car where it causes issues and I can't get a dyno tuned. And that's kind of my biggest fear for the day, or something dumb mechanically happens or anything like that. I did recently install an Aeroforce interceptor gauge and an odometer boost gauge. I'm not sure if the boost gauge is working as it should be. I may have the line kink because I had a lot of extra line and it's kind of wrapped up inside the pillar there. I am taking the Cobra down to Performance Dyno in New Hampshire. It's about a 2-hour drive for me. It is the closest place to dyno a car around here. Well, I do have a place right in my town that I live in. Well, the next town over, the town that I actually live in, there's really not much of anything there, but the next one over has a lot of stuff there. But they mostly do imports, and I've gone to Pete for a long time. He does such great work on tuning these cars that even if Pete was twice the distance away that he is, I would still go to Pete. I think this is the 4th or 5th Mustang I've had that he's tuned, and it's the second Terminator. He tuned the Torch Red Terminator twice, once with the 276 pulley, and then again with the VMP Gen 3R when that was put on. When I first went to Pete with the 276 pulley on the last Cobra I had, he said just do a 2.3 Whipple and basically the mods that I have on it now and call it good. And I went and did full fuel system VMP Gen 3R, and not that I didn't enjoy it, it was an awesome setup, but I think this setup being much more simplistic, not quite as involved, I'll be happier overall with it. One side note, I was doing an oil change on this yesterday. I kind of did a video prepping the car before coming down to the dyno, but I really got preoccupied with trying to do everything with installing the gauges, and oh, this does have a wideband too for the Aeroforce. Can't get this stupid thing to work. I don't know if I have it wired up wrong or what, but it's something I'll try to fix later on. But I was doing a video of doing all this stuff, the oil change, installing the gauges and all that. I don't know if that's ever going to get released because I got so sidetracked with just trying to get everything done. And while I was doing that, I was doing the oil change and I measured the lower crank pulley. It's 9 inches from top to bottom or across. So I looked up what that would be. It appears as though it could be a 6-pound pulley that I have on the crank. So with that, I'm really glad that it has long tubes, because even with the standard 3.5 pulley on the Whipple with a 6-pound lower without long tubes, I would probably be over 20 pounds of boost, like around 22, 23 maybe, or maybe like around 20. So I'm glad with the long tubes that it should drop the boost down a little bit and keep it hopefully like around 17. That's where I really want to be with it. I want this to be safe to run on pump gas, so I don't want to be pushing like 21, 22 pounds of boost, anything like that. And I don't want to have to run torque all the time because that does get pretty expensive. So, but I do have a 2-ish hour drive down to Performance Dyno, so I'll pick the video back up once I get down there, and hopefully we get some good results. As far as what I want to see, like I said in another video, I'd really like to see this thing break 600. It should with the mods on it, but you never know until it's on the dyno, until it's tuned. It will make what it makes, and after that, I'll be happy with whatever it makes, but I'm hoping it does get 600, so we'll see when I get down there. Well, this made a lot more power than I thought it was going to. That doesn't mean there isn't issues, and that doesn't mean that's where the power is stopping either. Not because I'm doing more mods, but because there's some things that need to be addressed. Now, the good news is the car appears to be very healthy. It pulled really good, no white smoke, no weird issues on the dyno. So that's the plus. The negative is that power that I made was only at 5,500. You had to stop the run short of doing a full pull because I'm out of fuel pump. Just like where I was told that this had a ported Eden when I bought it, I was also told by more than one person that has owned the car before me that it had GT supercar pumps. It does not. I am out of fuel. I'm maxed at 100% duty cycle at like 4,000 RPMs. And that just really irritates me because the whole reason I did the Whipple was because it already had pumps. All I had to do was add injectors and the mass air, and I was good. But now I have to do pumps on top of it. I'm sure some of you are familiar with Cobra down in Massachusetts. He actually sells a 4-hat with pumps already installed. Basically, you take out your hat, you drop that in, and you're good. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do those pumps with the 4-hat, and they'll get me to where I need to be fueling-wise. The other issue I ran into, and I kind of suspected this the day before I went down to the dyno, is my collectors for the headers are leaking a little bit. They are banged up pretty bad because the car is so low. All this was done before I bought the car as far as the headers and collectors being hit on ship. So those collectors need to be welded up a little bit because it's letting in unmetered air and it's throwing some weird friggin' stuff with the dyno. So he adjusted it for now so that won't be an issue, but I do have to get that taken care of. Now, I didn't think that this was going to pull over 650 at 5,500. What I also didn't realize was that this actually has a 6-pound mower on it. I thought it was a 4-pound. When I did the oil change on this the day before coming down to the dyno, I measured the crank pulley again, and it measured 9 inches. and that is a 6-pound lower. So that's pretty friggin' stout. So I'm running a 6-pound lower with a 3.5 upper. My only saving grace of keeping me below 20 pounds of boost was the long tube headers. If I had stock headers on here, I would have been over 20 psi, and I would have been pushing the limits of 93 octane at that point. So my only course of action would have been to run Torco all the time, and I really don't want to do that. I don't want to run Torco all the time. I'm debating whether I want to change to a 4-pound. I might do that, I might not. I'm undecided, because then I have to get another size belt and go through all that hassle of finding the right size belt. So I should be where I'll be with the upgraded pumps and the hat from Cobra Dan. I should be fine. I shouldn't have to lower my crank pulley size, but it's still kind of in the back of my head. It's something I really have to think about, because I would like this to stay under 20 pounds. Like, it was already at 18, and Pete said too that it's pretty linear at that point. It probably wasn't going to keep climbing to 6,500 as far as the boost goes. It was probably going to be capped like around 18 anyway. But man, that's incredible that this 2.3 Whipple is making just about the same power that my Gen 3R did. It's just freaking nuts. I mean, I didn't think this Whipple was going to make that kind of power, regardless of I realize there's a 6-pound lower on it. That's going to change the whole parameters of all this stuff. But still, I mean, you still have to have a blower capable of doing that power, regardless of what other mods are around it. So if you have like a first gen Kenny Bell with this setup, it's not going to make the same power, because it's just not as efficient, and it's not as good of a blower as a more modern 2.3 Whipple. Now, I may have dogged on Whipple a little bit in the past. I don't really dog on any blower for these cars. I may have poked fun at them every once in a while, like on Facebook groups or forums or something like that. But man, these things make friggin' power. Holy crap. I've been in the boost a little bit. I can't do a pull where I am right now anyway. It's just traffic. It's nothing I can do right now. So that will conclude this video. I'm quite surprised at where this is power-wise now. And once everything's sorted out and it's running the way that it should as far as the pumps, collectors being welded up, this is going to be one potent friggin' car. More than what I thought it would be when I decided to put a Whipple on it. So with all that being said, let me know down in the comments, what do you think as far as the power output of this with a mod list on it. I think it's pretty damn impressive myself. If you did make it this far of the video, make sure to leave it a like, but above all else, thanks for watching.